All right, we're back. Another episode of Expandable.
Morning, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Yeah, just trying to get into my morning rhythm, and I'm almost there. So this will help me do it. So for this episode, I wanted to something happened over the weekend, and I wanted to share it. I thought it was a good kind of anecdotal experience to share. And I was basically went to Lowe's, had to pick up a few things, and I actually, let me start this over because I can't even remember the story.
You do need to warm up.
Yeah, I do. I was walking out into the garden center. Oh, I remember what it was. Okay. It just left me. All right. So I walk into Lowe's, and, you know, it's Christmas time, holiday time. They have all the promotional stuff, like boom, right there in the front. Mm-hmm. You know, all the end cap stuff, and they have hand tools one after the other: screwdrivers, ratchet sets, the whole thing. And you know, you're
small Christmas presents.
Yeah, they're easy for, you know, someone to grab, for, you know, someone that they know is handy. Grab it, you know, throw it in their basket. And it looks like, okay, you just pick one of them, the ratchet set. It looks like that's all you need, right? It's just that ratchet set is going to get you. And, you know, you're handy. You would do a lot of projects around your house. So, you know, like that you need a lot of tools. Like I've
gotten those gifts from my mother over the years. Yes.
Yeah. And they do serve a purpose. I mean, it's good for some people. But it's really going to be very minor things that they can do to fix. And those sets generally end up in the back of your garage somewhere. You know, it's not a full blown setup to like fix on your house and like actually do real projects.
Yeah, you end up having
right. But I walk in and it hits me, and I think to myself, in my strange brain, I think, wow, what if I were to not know what I know about tools, and I want to build a workshop at my house, you know, call it what you want, so that I can access the tools and work on projects that come up. And if I were to walk in here and let Lowe's be the determiner of what, how I educate myself of what tools I need, and then I would look around and I would say, oh man, that's a complete set of sockets. That's a complete set of screwdrivers. That's a complete set of whatever. And then whatever, as I walk down the aisle, it would quickly become overwhelming to me because I would see multiples of these tools, different brands, you know, and if I were to take that approach, it would just be years and years and years of me trying to figure out what tools do I need, instead of starting with a project and saying, what would be the best tool for this, or being mentored by someone, or
that's what YouTube is for now.
Yeah. Well, and of course, you know, you go to YouTube and you find, and you put all this stuff together. But if I let Lowe's educate me in that instance, it's going to be a very uphill battle for me to figure out what tools do I need to get projects done. And it just occurred to me that I think that a lot of business owners do this with software that they adopt, especially with people that they hire. You know, they look to vendors, they look to salespeople of products to educate them on what they need to do in their business. And it's just a very backwards way of looking at it. The hard work.
They're going to the people that have the direct benefit of selling you anything.
That's right.
Yeah. Not what's best for you.
You know, and some of these vendors, some of these platforms, these companies, they have best intentions. They have a lot of really good solutions, but they have a business to run and money to make. So they're not there to give you the solution to your business. They're there to in an ideal situation, give you a solution to a problem. And I think if I'm sitting on their side, you know, marketing of the now is developing a solution that sits inside of maybe a program that you can offer to a client and try to provide as much contextual value to your solution as possible. So you're really stepping way over the line to that client to offer benefit. But even in that situation, that client has to figure out how to run their own business. They have to think for themselves in every aspect. And I know you've seen this too in your world, because you buy a lot of software and deal with a lot of vendors. And so I'm interested to get your take.
No, I mean, it's especially my LinkedIn feed every day. I mean, right before here, I think I got 3 notices of software. Yeah. Right now, it seems to be a lot of fraud mitigation tools and a lot of that kind of stuff. They'll give an anecdotal, 95% of people are subject to fraud. You don't, So
Yeah.
they want to sell you everything. And I see it in every aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But, as running a business, you have to set yourself back and see, do I really need this?
That's right.
And take time. I've renovated houses and the tools, and for the most part, I would like to think the person doing the work has not, has maybe fallen for that once,
Mm-hmm.
that they know what they're getting into.
Green, you don't, I need a socket set because I need a 10 millimeter socket, which seems to always get lost. And you get it the first time, but then after that, it's, you got to really have a plan for where you're going to store your tools, how are they all going to go to, how can you put your hand on the tool you need when you need it?
Oh yeah.
That's the bigger picture of thinking independently.
And I've gotten granular too on it. Well, if I have to run back to Lowe's 3 times to fix that one project, would I have been better off paying an expert for that?
Yeah.
And over time, as you've built the tools and you've got the skills,
right,
then there's certain things that you can do yourself. But,
yeah,
I think there's a lot of times people will step over a quarter to pick up a dime too.
Yeah, I agree. And I just think the point that I'm trying to make here is that if you're in business for yourself or you're CEOing a business, you have to do the hard work of understanding how your business needs to run.
But clearly it works
solutions.
Because businesses aren't stopping doing that. You know, and also the model of having that good, better, best mentality, and then people default to the middle. Like, the average consumer, I swear, still doesn't figure that out. They're like, oh, I don't want that best one.
Yeah.
Well, that one's too cheap. Fall right in the middle.
Yeah.
That's coming in. Same thing with, good restaurants. They want to point you to the lowest per cost meal that they're making the most money. They don't make the most money off the steak.
That's right. It's sort of like right below that.
Oh yeah. It's the pasta,
Yeah.
we're
Definitely
the
pasta.
in there. And, depending on what chain you got to watch out for what is special.
Yeah.
If they're smart, they're going to want to guide everybody into that
that's
largest margin product.
Yeah, that's an interesting, different experience because you go in and a lot of times you'll say, you don't want to make a decision. That's what it is. You say, well, what do you recommend? Well, they're going to recommend the biggest margin, depending on the restaurant, the pasta meal with the chicken on top. And how should you approach that? Do a little bit of work, and think about what is it that I'm going to enjoy in this experience. What is it? Do I want steak? Do I want chicken? Do I want, and figure out it. I mean, that's another kind of random example, but it happens all the time. It happens in everything we do. And I think sometimes we can get programmed to think that other people have the solution for us. We just have to find those people. And I don't think that's always true. I think there are companies, vendors, salespeople for companies out there that have good solutions, but they're generally around one problem. Like someone comes to you and says, fraud is rampant. Well, fraud's a big topic, right? Like that's absolutely a very wide thing. So what are we really talking about here? We're talking about fraud in, check cashing or check washing,
debit cards,
or debit cards, right? This is one specific thing
online.
But then you have to be able to think about that broadly for how does this play in with the whole suite of products I offer? And
additionally, how does it plug into every one of them? Are there additional charges for connectivity? That's first and foremost. How much training on staff? Is it going to be front of mind that they're going to bring to light and utilize? And bandwidth of your staff, your employees. Can you provide another product that is going to go? That they're going to actually be 100% behind.
Yeah.
There's really a lot to go into it.
Yeah. That leads me to this idea of if you know your business, you're going to know the right questions to ask. You know the right questions to ask now. You've been in this, leading this bank for such a long time, and you've been through so many hurdles that you're not even going to take a meeting if they can't answer a few basic questions.
And what's funny is, as I've been a reference for software companies, I'll get a call from the bankers, and it's the same questions they all ask. It's the same playbook that they ask. They're just checking the box. And it's funny, 9 times out of 10, as I'm explaining to it, they're not even listening to you. They're just checking the box saying, oh, we checked their reference. They'd already made up their mind.
Yeah. That proves my point. It's like they just want to go down the 101 checklist and let someone else do the hard work. And you may stay in business, but is that really what you're out to do? Is just stay in business? No. You want to grow that business and thrive and have it, change your life, change other people's lives around you. You can't do that by taking the easy way out.
And I don't know about you, but I hate giving myself unnecessary work. I mean, I know people that they just like to bog down, like, oh, I'm in that grind. I'm hustling and grind, but really they've just created a lot of nonsense.
Completely.
And, if you don't have that, what some people consider downtime, but time to actually sit back and reflect on your business, then you've created way too much unnecessary work for yourself.
Yeah. Sometimes it can just take stepping back, for a day and taking a look at what have you done, what is to come, and what have you made of your business. And one thing that really changed me in the way I look at my business is trying to look at my business as if I were an investor. That changed the way I operate, because an investor looks at your business with a much more critical eye, because they're looking at the value that would bring them. If they were to put money in, what's the return? So it points to things like systems, systems of growth.
Yeah.
It points to what's your business worth? Is it worth more than what you're doing every day, right? As a single person.
And if you're managing for somebody else's company or ownership, you need not only look from the investor's point of view, but you need to look at, would you spend your own money on this?
That's right.
Is that worth it to you? So, I mean, if it doesn't pass those litmus tests, that's it.
Yeah.
Don't go forward.
Yeah. Where are you headed? Sort of vision talk, and how's it all integrated? That starts you down the path of thinking for yourself and not looking at competitors or whatever everyone else doing. I think a lot of companies, when it comes to marketing, they hire ill-experienced marketers on their team. And so no one really knows the answer. And so then they look to vendors for answers. So they'll look to a HubSpot or Salesforce and those companies have great solutions. They have great infrastructure and they have great things that they can offer you to help solve your needs, but they shouldn't be your point of education. I mean, you can learn things from them of how to make your thing better, but you can't learn how to make your thing.
No, they're just add-ons.
Right.
Yeah. Help you spur creativity in your ideas and how that works with your business. But first and foremost, you need to be the architect of your own company.
That's right. And if you can't figure that out, I think that's a great point of inflection for a specific type of consultant to come in.
Yeah.
Because a consultant that has essentially is a teacher, they come in that domain and can broaden your mind about how to think, your mindset about this type of thing. So they're not beholden to a vendor. They're not beholden to a solution. They're just there to help you grow your business or, grow in that, whatever the domain is.
What amazes me in my industry, when I'm being sold by new software providers, or they're going to bring in new qualified leads. Okay, well, they're going to give you bank references. Why even call that bank? Banks are required to publish their quarterly data.
Yeah.
It's so easy to find. There. So you can look at the metrics of where they were prior to taking on that product and after, and look right there. Did their margins increase? Did their deposits increase? Did their loan volume increase? So the proof is in the pudding right there, but I'd be amazed. Hardly any bankers, when they're reviewing it, are they actually going to look at the financial data of the banks that instituted. And then even the banks that are publicly traded, read their 10Ks. It gives away most of their playbook right there of what they've instituted in their margins and how it's, influenced next quarter. So then, trust but verify. Okay, the salesperson said it increased this. Well, those numbers will tell you.
So I'm curious if the solution in that short term is to look at what's publicly available. Do you think a lot of these bankers don't know that it's available or don't know to look there?
I don't think they,
or do they know and they just aren't thinking critically?
I think it's a mixed bag.
Because if
it's the IT guy that is looking at software support, or who they're going to with an organization to ask their feedback, they're not going to know the financial report typically.
Sure.
Management may not know. They may never have prepared the call report. They may not know how to read it, but it's really not that difficult to just look at the sections, and they give you definitions on it of what this means and dollar. I mean,
yeah.
Even if you don't know the relationship, you can just track, okay, total deposits this quarter, last quarter. Did they grow?
Yeah.
If it was a deposit product they were selling you, or,
right.
a new fintech, it's going to be pretty easy to see.
So if they, let's say the half or more that know they can find the information there, I think it becomes a critical thinking issue of they need to be able to look at the information.
I mean, generally, data, I think they're lazy.
Yeah.
Or they're not thinking through like, well, what's the easiest way to get information? Oh, well, they told me.
Yeah.
They couldn't be lying, or maybe they just trust. I don't understand it. It bogs my mind because, I mean, even when I'm in Lowe's and I'm looking at something, I'm going to look there and Google the review of it if it's a specific need.
Taking it like off of banking back to a regular business owner, I think that back to like the laziness thing. To me, it's like you're not looking critically at your business and the operations of your business, because if you were, then you would have better questions, and those questions would lead you to people to talk to get answers instead of going to those people first or some people you think might have answers and learning from them.
And another theory I think is, if it is a face-to-face salesperson, they get to like that person. They like the personality, go through, and then therefore don't follow through. I remember hearing a study that, it wasn't the quality of the doctor, whether they got sued, it was their bedside manner.
Yeah.
So you can have the best doctor in the world, but, he just is very curt at the end and tells you everything. But if something did happen, even when it's out, he's more likely to be, or she's more likely to be sued.
Yeah.
So it's kind of ridiculous. People will that feelings. Well, I like Lee. So even though he cost you, all of this, I like him.
Well, but I think that even though he cost you is not even in the equation because they don't know, they're not thinking critically about how to determine what they cost them. It's back to the old school rapport.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at the facts, proof and pudding. It's fantastic to have a wonderful relationship.
Yeah, on top
with
of
that company and everything, but to me, that's not.
That's right.
The number one thing. Number one is proof, substance. What's underneath?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting topic. I think it gets down to sort of the drive and the vision of an owner, CEO that is moving things forward. And if they really want to take out, one of the other points I was going to make is that I think they get to the busy work, like they get caught up in the busy work of operations. And so they're not able to have the time and space to think critically.
But I mean, most business people now have a profile on LinkedIn. Okay. Now, when you're on there and you see companies pushing like a crazy sales culture on there, to me now, it's pretty easy to spot which ones don't really have substance because they're spending so much time trying to prove to the world they've got the right thing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if they did, they'd be in so demand they wouldn't have time to be on there.
Exactly. And that's where marketing's going really, especially in the B2B space. It's about creating demand by offering contextual value up the funnel. So, but even to that point, if I'm creating a podcast like this and trying to offer value to people at the top of the funnel where you're becoming aware that you need help in certain areas, you want to get educated, right? It's a good place to go to get educated. I don't have all the answers. I don't know how your business should run, right?
No.
You do. And it's a matter of thinking critically, getting up in the morning and thinking, I'm going to spend some time on figuring out what I need to do with this business or what I need to do with this part of my business that integrates this way. You gotta really think critically about your business. You can't expect that the person on the podcast, even though they're doing a great job trying to offer free value up the funnel, is going to be able to just, flip a switch and your business is now going to be great.
Yeah. You just got to make sure it's right for you before you go forward. And, it's better if it's not a hell yes, don't do it.